My name is Misty Foster. I am the chapter leader of the Sacramento chapter of Parents of Murdered Children. We are a support group for anyone who's had a loved one die by violence. My brother David was murdered in March of 1991, and his homicide remains unsolved. Parents of Murdered Children, our vision statement is to provide support and assistance to all survivors of homicides while we try to create a world free of murder. Doesn't happen a lot, unfortunately. The history of Parents of Murdered Children is it was started by Robert and Charlotte Hollinger from Cincinnati, Ohio in 1978 after their daughter Lisa was murdered by a former boyfriend in Europe. Unfortunately, he only did less than 2 years for that murder and returned to the United States and committed another murder, who he did then spend life in prison for. But unfortunately, that was the second murder they were aware of. Who knows how many they missed. POMC programs, to name a few, is Murder is Not Entertainment. Basically, we try to object to things that condone or make it glorified that murder is okay. The big turnoff is turning off your TVs, during violent crimes, that kind of stuff. Silent voices is for those voices, children who cannot speak for themselves, who have been murdered. Catch a Killer. It's an unsolved murder program. There is so much involved in all these programs. I don't think I can mention everything. So please do go on the website to find these things. There's a lot more of them as well. Killer alert is when we know that a killer has been released from prison, who may be living around the family and friends of those he or she hurt. Thorough block program. PMC is very dedicated to keeping killers in prisons. If you have a loved one who has died by violence and their offender has been sentenced and they're up for parole, please contact the national website, our national office. We do have a parole block form that goes out to every active chapter of Parents of Murdered Children, and we will get parole signed for you. Second opinion service. While PMC does not actively investigate cases, they have a list of experts from coroners to ex-FBI, DOJ, who will look at cases. If you please do not send your only copies, but if you send them information, they will look at that case and they will give you suggestions of things that maybe were missed. As you can see, this is the contact information on the website. So just a little bit more information about POMC. Right now, POMC is currently sending out over 8,000 anniversary cards to members of our organization in honor of their loved ones. That's only 8,000. Can you imagine the members that we have missed? POMC is 95 to 98% volunteer run. Basically, the only people who are paid employees are at the national level at our office, because we want to make sure there's somebody in the office. We are the mothers, the fathers, the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, the brothers, the sisters, the cousins, the best friends from fourth grades who are doing the work of Parents of Murdered Children. We want our loved ones to be remembered. We want there to be voices for those who can no longer speak for themselves. Too often the system puts the rights of the offenders over the rights of the victims, and the victims need to be remembered. We offer monthly support group meetings, support accompaniment when possible, telephone network of support if you can't make the meetings. That's just to name a few of the things that we do. Just a reminder that, I was looking up statistics for this Zoom call, and according to the statistics for 2020, and that's the latest reports I can get, there were 21,570 murders in 2020, with 2,203 of them being in California. That's way too many. I often hear when we're listening to those who are defending the offenders, one innocent person in jail is wrong. And I say one more murder one more person lost to violence is wrong. We need to hold people accountable for what they do. According to the Department of Justice, between 2019 and 2020, violent crime rose by 5.6%. That's only the things that they're catching. What about the things that aren't reported? What about the victims who don't speak for themselves anymore, can't speak for themselves? We need to remember that it's not, murder doesn't end at the trial or at the funeral. Those of us left behind were given a life sentence. We have to learn how to live with this for the rest of our lives. How we choose to live with it is up to us. Some of us get stuck in anger. Some of us join programs like Voices for Victims to make sure that our loved ones are heard, or form organizations like MAD. We need to remember that the victims are as important as those who commit these crimes. Thank you for listening.